Welcome back to the Untouchaballs podcast. Caden and Leo here. Caden, how you doing today?
Doing great. It's a nice little Monday afternoon right now.
It is a Monday afternoon. We're not recording this late in the night this time finally, but we are excited for another double episode. Happy Wednesday to all you folk. Caden, we got some NBA basketball to talk about. Take us into the first topic, Leo.
Yeah, like usual, we're going to start off with our Denver Nuggets here.
Correct.
And since we last, did an NBA pod, they've had 3 games. Last Tuesday, so the day before the last NBA pod came out, they played against the Grizzlies on a little back-to-back, and this is the last game they had without Jokic. They found a way to win.
They did.
Ugly
game.
It was the 1 by 12. I mean, the Grizzlies are not good.
Good.
The Grizzlies aren't bad, but they're without Ja right now, which really hinders them. Santi Aldama had like 28 and 11 that game, so he went off. But, I mean, Porter in that game, which I think was the biggest surprise, he had 24 points that game without making a 3.
Yeah.
He was driving. He was making his layups. He was making those tough contested shots by the rim, which is a really big step up, which I think is a big improvement to see in his game.
Caden, I'm glad you brought up Porter's game because we'll get into the other game that happened on Friday. That has been the biggest change I've seen as the season's gone out. As soon as Jokic has been out, Porter has been forced to have to use his size, to have to play, at the rim, and he's really looked well doing it. With his frame, you get, a smaller guy shifting on him. He's going to have the mismatch every time.
He's a 6'10" 3 guard. You're going to have the size advantage 90% of the time. It's really good to see the improvement of him actually driving to the basket now because he's not a bad finisher around the rim.
No, not at all.
He gets in there, he'll do his little hop step, just float it in there, and then it works. And that's what we like to see, especially when the 3 ball's not falling for him as well. Just go in, drive, and get your points another way. Then, like we said, on Friday against the Mavericks, Jokic finally returned. It was an interesting game.
It was really interesting, kid.
It was a really bad first half, really started the third quarter. They were down 20, as much as 24 at one point, and they started coming back. Jokic came back like he didn't miss a beat.
Didn't miss a beat.
A little easy triple-double, just looking good.
It's just so effortless, Caden, watching Jokic play. It's ridiculous.
And then, they're up 4 with a couple minutes left. And then they let Dallas go on a 9-0 run. Jamal hits a big 3 to get it within 1. So it was just a really bad. It was like the last 3 minutes of the game after this great, perfect, amazing second half out of the entire team. They forgot how to play offense the last 3 minutes and really gave away a game that they should have probably won.
Caden, this game was there for Denver to win. They obviously, like you said, and a big part of that third quarter was Michael Porter Jr.'s play. He was driving, he was attacking, and I think that was one of the big, takeaways was the fact that when he's aggressive, it creates so much opportunity in lanes for guys. That game was right there for the taking for the Denver Nuggets. And like you said, at the end, wonky foul trouble, couldn't get a stop on defense, and let the Mavericks come in and steal one out from under you.
You were letting Najee Marshall had 24 points off the bench. Without Luka, that's not something you should be really, the only person who really should be going off for them is Kyrie. And instead, you're letting PJ Washington put up 22. Najee Marshall put up 24. Kyrie did not have a good game.
No.
And you still give up 123 points to them and lose the game.
Caden, not only that, it just seemed like early on, the Nuggets were out physically by Dallas. It seemed like they weren't trying. Coach Malone was saying that in the some stuff like that in the huddle. He's like, guys, we need to get a stop on defense and transition that into our offense. Because the Nuggets are a flow team, Caden. They go off of energy. That they didn't have. But they then the next day had to go to Los Angeles and play the Los Angeles Lakers. Tell us about that game.
Yes, an interesting back-to-back. You're at home, then you have to go all the way to L.A., play the Lakers. Another slow start for them, rough start. They're down 63-57 at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what was it, 50... It's like a 50-13 extended run for the Nuggets to really pull away in this game. Jokic did more beautiful Jokic things.
He did.
Christian Brown, my boy, he's still only gone under in 1 game. He's still gone over in every game but that one.
Keep it up.
So it's been great for him. And in that game, he was 7-7 from the field, 2 for 2 from 3. He's shooting now, he's averaging about 16 points a game, shooting 46.7% from 3. In the month of November, he's shooting 50% from 3 on about 3 attempts a game, which is what we want to see from him. He's getting about 5 boards. We're finally seeing Brown develop into that starting role we've been wanting to see.
Yeah, Caden, and that's what's come with time, right? As the Nuggets continue to play more games, continue to find their footing, Jokic being back. Congratulations to him, by the way.
Yep.
Another child.
Another
We
child.
didn't even mention that. But, Aaron Gordon hopefully is going to start coming back soon. You start getting guys healthy and start gelling. Hopefully Jamal Murray is going to remember how to play basketball, and then you'll be all right.
Yeah, that's really the big one. I mean, Michael Porter's playing great. Jokic is on another level to start.
He's the best player in the world.
He's on another level to start.
And his three-point shooting, too. We haven't even mentioned his three-point percentage.
He's taking more attempts. He's making them. I mean, we talked about obviously earlier in the season we had 7 threes. Like, he's making up for Jamal Murray being an absolute can out there, forgetting how to shoot the basketball, just sucking it out. Like, he's getting some assists. He's facilitating a little better. He just can't shoot the ball. He can't make a shot if he can't hit the ocean if he was in a boat.
That is true, Caden. Talking about another team that can't hit a shot, and that is struggling.
The Philadelphia 76ers, who are literally the second worst team in the East. They are 3-13. The only team that is worse than them in the East is the Washington Wizards. Like, they are in the struggle. But everyone thinks preseason, you get Paul George, team up with Embiid and Maxey.
Paul George, yeah. Whatever.
I mean,
how many times have we done this whole Paul George super team narrative? It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. And I mean, Maxey was hurt for a little while. He's come back. Still looking good. Paul George, since he's come back from injuries, he's playing like Paul George. The one issue, though, is your big man, is Joel Embiid, who's come back for injury. He's still kind of injured. He's
had the suspension.
He had the suspension. And in these games, he's averaging 19.8 points. But that's really because he's the best foul baiter in the entire NBA. But yeah, he's only shooting 38% from the field, which is not what you want to see from a center who's taking most of his shots from inside the paint, right by the rim. Yeah, I mean, he's only getting about 7 boards. And 20 points, it's very low for him. We saw last year when he was on this historic offensive run where he's averaging 35 points a game. That's way down. His efficiency's way down. And he still looks injured out there. I don't know what's going on. It seems like that knee is still really bothering him.
Caden, I don't know what's wrong with Joel Embiid's knee, but every other week it's inflamed, it's swollen, it's something. I don't know, if you just need to give him a month off and tell him don't do anything or something. But at this point, you need a spark and you need it to get going sooner rather than later, or you're going to fall behind. And in the East, that is not very good, Caden.
No, it's a weak East.
It's a top-heavy East. There's going to be an
opportunity. And they were supposed to be at the top.
They were supposed to be one of those top teams. There's going to be an opportunity for you to slide in if you can get your stuff together now. And makes the playoffs still.
It's a little weird, with this Embiid thing, maybe the Sixers shouldn't have let him play in the Olympics. Because he was somehow perfectly healthy for that.
Yeah, surprise.
And then you get into training camp and, now his knee's acting up. We don't know what's going on with him. Yeah, like you're saying, in the East, they're 3-13 right now. They're the 14 seed. But, I mean, they're only 3.5 games back from the play-in game right now. From a top 5 seed, they're only 5 games back. It's a really bad Eastern Conference, especially during this first quarter of the season, that if they can start figuring it out more offensively, get actually healthy, it seems like, then they can find a way to make back in that playoffs. But, I mean, who knows with this team?
Yeah.
They're a little bit of a dumpster fire right now.
True.
Now, though, a team I want to talk about in the West, though, who's really hampered by injuries and is, as of right now, 15th in the Western Conference, even below the lowly Jazz and the Trailblazers, who actually beat Minnesota on a back-to-back. They had a back-to-back against Minnesota, beat them both times. Minnesota's off to a really rough start. They need to figure it out. Between Dante DiVincenzo needs to figure it out. He's shooting really bad. Julius Randle's been he's giving you the full Julius Randle experience. But with the Pelicans, let's go through the list of all their injuries right now.
Let's go through the Pelicans list, actually. Well, we have time, Caden.
So, you have Jose Alvarado. He's going to be reevaluated in about 3 weeks. Zion Williamson, indefinite with his hamstring. Herb Jones is out with his shoulder after he'd already missed a couple weeks for the start of the season. CJ McCollum's still out. Brandon Ingram, he's day-to-day. He's still healthy for the most part. Then DeJounte Murray is still out with his hand. That's 5 of their actual quality starting, not starting. Herb Jones is a great bench
rotator,
piece.
Yeah.
There's 5 of their best, probably 7, 8 pieces that are all injured. The only one you have right now is Brandon Ingram. And, like, you're letting people like Brandon Boston get extended minutes. And, like the Pelicans have a really competent roster. You see when they're healthy that they're always going to be one of those.
They're never healthy, Caden.
They're never healthy. But when they are, they play like a top 5 team in this stacked West. Because, I mean, Brandon Ingram's going to give you 22, 25 a night. Zion, another 25 a night. CJ McCollum can give you 18. Jose Alvarado is not going to do much on the offensive side, but he's amazing on the defensive end. Herb Jones, amazing on the defensive end. And they finally get Trey Murphy back, which is great. That's finally going to help out their defense. Where, like, Herb Jones and Trey Murphy off the bench really solidifies one of the best, like, bench defensive units in the league. And when you have all these injuries, Trey Murphy has to slide into the starting role. Or, I mean, he's not the best shooter. He's starting to figure it out more offensively. You saw it towards the second half of last year. But, I mean, when you have a lot of these top wing defenders that are able to come off your bench, it really hampers you when 5 of your best players are hurt. And, I mean, like we were just talking about, though, with the Sixers, where they're 3-13 and they have room to improve. The Pelicans are 4-13 right now. The West is a lot more, like, conjugated right now in the standings, so they still have time to make it up. The Spurs are the 10th seed right now at 9-8. So, I mean, they're 5 games back to the 10 seed. If they want to stay out of the play-in, get that top 6 seed, though, they're 6 games out. Like, you really need these your better players to start coming back from injuries, getting healthy. If you can start making a push in easily the much tougher conference, a lot of better teams, especially like more injury. Like the Mavs are injured right now. Obviously, the Grizzlies are injured. Like, you have a lot of these top West teams that are injured right now. So if you're already all the way at the bottom, you're really going to start making that push and winning these games that you need to.
Caden, they're going to have to figure it out, and they're going to have to figure it out fast. Yep. Ultimately, I think it's a bigger issue than just players being injured. I think there's got to be a strength and conditioning. Yeah. Something's going on in Louisiana.
Something is.
Too many years, for too long, Zion Williamson's been up and down with his weight. He's been hurt. He's been messed up. All these stars, every year, this Pelicans have had this core piece of roster for kind of a while. Oh, yeah. Caden. These guys have played together. They've gelled. They should be clicking, and they should be dominating. They're injured. They're inconsistent. And they're never on the court together. When they are, we know what team they are.
Like last year, for the first, it was like third of the season, they were all healthy. They were a top 3 seed in the West with the Thunder and the Nuggets. Then Zion gets hurt. Brandon Ingram misses some time. And all of a sudden, you make the play-in game. Zion tried to do everything he could in the play-in game. You lose to the Lakers, but, like, you need your pieces healthy or you're not going to – I mean, it's obvious, like, you need to be healthy to win games. Yes. But, yeah, like you said, it seemed like there's something going down in New Orleans where – somehow no one can find a way to stay healthy for this team. It seems like ever with this core.
Caden, as always, the NBA is so confusing, so diverse. And once again, we're not even to Thanksgiving yet.
That is very true. Yeah, we're still in this early stages of the season. Really, a lot of people say the NBA doesn't kick off till the new year, those Christmas time games. So, I mean, if they can make a push before those, it'll be great for them. But it's a really bad start for them, and they keep losing pieces.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you need them to get healthy. And I've seen reports, maybe it's just best try to trade Zion.
Yeah.
See what you can get in return. Like, at least maybe.
Rebuild.
I mean, you don't even really need to rebuild, I'd say, because you still have Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum. You can still be a playoff team. Try to find a way. See what you could get for Zion. You could probably get a good bid.
Before the deadline.
Before the deadline this year.
Okay.
Look out. Like, see what other teams would be willing to offer for Zion. And if the right offer is there, it might be worth it to move him, get rid of him, and just try to find a new core to build around.
Not a bad suggestion, Caden. That's all we have time for today. I hope you guys have a fantastic Thanksgiving. Caden, what should they do before they leave?
Yeah, make sure you guys like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload. Make sure you share the pod with all your friends, family, everyone. And follow the social medias as well because we're posting a lot of more bets now, especially football related.
Yes.
We'll probably get some more NBA bets related too come later in the season, come playoffs and all that.
Correct.
And have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy time with your families.
Thank you all for listening. We'll see you all next time.